All right, guys, and welcome to the Underdog's Edge. This is season number 3, episode number 2, and we're gonna get into this here right off the bat. If you're new to this podcast is for the entrepreneurs, the movers, the shakers, the business owners, independent thinkers, the leaders, the people out there that are living with purpose, living with passion, that are living with a sense of destiny in their life, people that are taking control of their life, to do something big, to live from their heart, to provide good things for others, to provide for their family, provide for their loved ones, provide for themselves, to be able to provide and fulfill what God has given them in their heart. And honestly, isn't that the whole purpose of life? Is to simply fulfill what God has put in your heart. If you can't do that, how can you be content? There's nothing in this world that can make up for that. Cars, money, friends, mansions, whatever it is, distractions. There's nothing in this world that can replace that need that every single person has, that God has placed in their heart, is to fully be who they were made and designed to be. I feel like that is that core issue in this world, in this life, for all of humanity, is the core issue that causes most people's issues and problems. And that could be a whole nother podcast on itself. All right, let's get straight into this. This is season number 3, episode number 2. This is the Underdog's Edge, and I'm so grateful that you're tuning in on this podcast, and thankful that you're here. Today's podcast is going to be titled "Creating Space in Your Life." Creating space in your life, and this is such a important topic and important thing that I feel like a lot of strivers, a lot of people that are obviously working to fulfill their God-given destiny, could have more of in their life, is that space that is very needed to have stress management, that space to be able to have clarity of mind, to be able to have inner peace. Whenever you're out there in the world and in your life, and you're working to create what you see inside your internal vision, what has been placed on your heart, there's a lot of challenges that can come up in that path, and for many different various reasons, and for many different many different people, different challenges, for every single person on their path. But the same thing is a challenge provides an obstacle, a roadblock. It is something pushing up against you as you're working to move forward. And if you don't create enough space in your life, then what can happen, because this has happened to myself millions of times, it feels like, and I know it happens to a lot of high level, high producing, high performing people in their own vocation or work, is you tend to get overstressed. And whenever you get overstressed, then things are going to happen. Okay. You're going to have moments where you don't think as clearly as you could. You're going to have moments where you maybe lash out at someone that you care about, or you lash out someone that you don't like because they're an easy target, or you were just in a place of frustration and pent up energy and pent up anger. Those type of situations, it's not a defect. It has nothing to do with you being a flawed human being. It is simply not utilizing stress management and not creating enough space in your life. This is something relevant for me in the season of my life that I'm in. That's why I'm speaking on it. Creating space in your life. So creating space in your life creates you an opportunity to have clear thinking, free flowing thoughts, inner peace, solitude, quietness, whatever you want to call it. It's a place of serenity. Every single person has to have this. If you do not give yourself this as a human being, you're doing yourself a disservice. And so let's go into some tactics on how you can create space in your life and why it's so important. I think one of the very first things you could do is creating a morning routine and or multiple habits and routines. Why is routine and daily discipline so important? Is it because we just want to be Mr. Disciplined person or Mr. and Mrs. Disciplined person? Maybe that's probably part of it. I feel like a big part of it is it gives you space in your life. It gives you a place to where you can have clarity in mind. It's something that is done with repetition, something that is done. Basically, you can do it in your sleep. That provides you that space to have free flowing thought. It provides you that opportunity to say, okay, what are the most important items for me to focus on? And I can give myself that time to focus on those items every single day in this morning time or in this evening or whatever it may be. It's a really critical thing that I feel like can be super, super powerful for a lot of different people, is creating those habits, creating that space, creating those routines that you can consistently do to provide a flow and a rhythm in your life. Life is really, if you can create a rhythm in your life, you can create a lot of powerful momentum. I feel like morning routines or habits and daily disciplines give me that sense of rhythm, of flow, of space, where I'm not getting bombarded with other people's agendas and other people's ideas and stress and thoughts and insecurities and concerns. That I have this space to get myself right. Because if you're not right by yourself, you can't be right for anybody else. It doesn't matter how hard you try. You have to be right for yourself. So that's the first thing that we can do, is implement a morning routine around the same time every single day. Implement a habit, a daily discipline that you can utilize every single day that's going to allow you to have that sense of a rhythm and routine in your life to give you space to think, that free-flowing thoughts, to have more inner peace. The second thing that we can do is we can get rid of toxic people and associations. This is something that I've had to do often in my life. I have often been connected with toxic people and toxic associations. And oftentimes I was part of that. I was a big part of that toxic environment. I attracted who I was. Now, once I had the awareness that I wanted to grow, then I had to remove these people and these situations or these associations or environments from my life. And once I had the awareness and how vital and important it was for my success, it wasn't that difficult. Now, it can be difficult for some people, but having the awareness of this person doesn't matter. I feel like everybody has a good heart. I feel like every single person in this world, generally speaking, is a good person. God did not make defective people. Most people's hearts are in the right place. It does not mean their behavior is right, or their thoughts are right, or their intentions are always right. It doesn't mean all that. There are bad people. It does exist. There are negative people. It does exist. There are people with bad intent. That does exist. I think it's having the level of practical understanding that, okay, you know what? I may love this person. I may think this person deep down is a good person. Deep down, 12 years ago, they were awesome. 3 years ago, they were awesome. 2 months ago, they were awesome. 8 months ago, 9 years ago when we were little kids, they were awesome. Today, they don't align with my life. I think it's healthy and appropriate to set a boundary. It doesn't mean that you pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm kicking you out of my life. I probably want to do that. But it does mean that, you know what, I'm not going to associate with this person on a day-to-day basis. This person really doesn't bring a lot of value to my life. They don't even allow me to really bring value in their life because they're not able to receive it. I'm just going to kind of distance myself from this. And then I'm going to replace that with someone. I'm going to seek someone now that is in more of alignment with me. This is a really big game changer. I've done this multiple times in my life, and it's helped me level up every single time. People will hold you back. Your environment, your associations, the people who you associate with is a reflection of who you are as a person. Good, bad, up, down, ugly, doesn't matter. It's a reflection. So whoever we associate with on a social basis, on a day-to-day basis, whoever we keep in our circle, whatever that may look like, it's different for everybody. It's a reflection of who we are. We have to take ownership of that, and we have to make adjustments to give us space in life to have clarity, to have inner peace and contentment and understanding. Okay, the third thing that we can do, this is something that when I'm optimizing and I am executing when I'm at my highest levels, is staying ahead of your task or projects. Procrastination is one of the biggest, I feel like one of the things that actually causes the most stress in life. I generally speaking, am not a procrastinator, but I have procrastinated. And I've actually caught myself recently kind of getting in a few ruts of procrastination with a few items in my life. And it's very subtle, but sometimes we can kind of dip our head in the sand. We don't want to address things or confront issues, or we don't want to start taking action towards something for whatever reason. Staying ahead of our task, in a very assertive, intentional way is such a game changer, and it creates a lot of space in your life, because when you're ahead of something, you are ahead of potential problems. You are above the problems. You're ahead of the problem. So you can respond with more clarity. You can respond in a more peaceful manner. You can respond in a more mature manner. You can respond in a more powerful manner. It is a place where you literally take control of your life. Whenever we procrastinate and we don't stay ahead of our projects and our tasks, things that are important and crucial in our lives, we become reactive. And when we become reactive, it is just a constant, never-ending cycle of responding to things that seem like fires, things that seem like they're urgent, and they're not urgent. It could be other people's agendas, other people's interest, other people's things that they want us to do. It could be things that we should have done last week, but we didn't do it. So now we're trying to catch up and play overtime. That causes stress. That actually constricts the space in your life. It makes it where you don't have enough space. There's not enough place for clarity. And when you're in that constricted place, man, I'm telling you, it's really difficult. That's where we as people act from places that are out of character, places that doesn't make sense. They're not rational. We lash out. We get angry. We overreact to something. We overthink. This is coming from a place of not having enough space in our lives. So the third thing that we can do, guys, is stay ahead of your task and projects and things that are critical in your world. The fourth thing that we can do is it's simple. It's one of my favorite things, is just simply having a daily planner. Having a daily planner. It's so funny, because when you think of a daily planner, it seems kind of like, well, that's very disciplined. If I have a daily planner, it's rigid, it's structure, it's like I'm having to put myself in a box. It's actually the opposite. When you have a daily planner, you're controlling your day, you're controlling your world. You can't control everything, okay? I mean, it's impossible, seriously. But you can at least have an intention to move your life in a certain direction by or you just freestyle all day. And when you're freestyling, you're reacting. And when you're reacting, something else is dictating your life. Something else is dictating your world. And I just don't believe that's the way God made it to be. I feel like, it's from the inside out. It's not from the outside in. So having a daily planner is being a good steward of your life. It's not about being disciplined or being a drill sergeant. It's not about being rigid. It's being a good steward of your life. God gave us life. God gave us time, life, breath, a spirit. We were getting these things, these faculties. I believe a daily planner is being a good steward of our life. We have financial plans, we have health and fitness plans, we have business plans, we have family plans, wedding plans, but we don't have daily plans. Some people do, some people don't. I think if we reframe the way we look at a daily planner is being a good steward of your life. It doesn't mean it has to be overly rigid. It just means, you know what, God, you've given me this day. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to make sure that I do my best to actualize what you put in my heart, because God, I don't know how many more days I have on this planet. I'm going to be honest with you. One of my biggest fears in life is not maximizing my potential. It's probably my biggest fear. I am very much aware that I don't have forever. I will not be on this planet forever. I will not be living forever. I also have an understanding that I don't know how many more days I have on this planet. It could be gone next week. Seriously, I could be done next week. If God chooses to take me, I could be out. It could be 80 years from now. I have no idea. But the point is I have to be a good steward of my life. I cannot take it for granted. I will not take it for granted. I'm challenging you today. If you're listening to this, don't take your life for granted. You don't have forever. You really don't. I know it's nice to live in this world, and it's good to enjoy pleasures in life and fun, and you should. But guys, what about what was given in your heart? What was given to you that you need to give it to the world? And guys, what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you have to get on the world stage and talk to 4 billion people. It can simply just mean your family, your friends, your dog, your neighbor, your coworkers. It can mean so many different things for so many people, but every single purpose is on the same level in God's eyes. Every single path is on the same level as God's eyes. So if you're the president of the United States, or you're a mechanic in El Paso, Texas, your purpose is the exact same in God's eyes. There is not anything different. The president's purpose is not bigger than the mechanic's purpose. The mechanic's purpose is not bigger than the president's purpose. Every single person has a purpose. Every single person, has something to actualize in their life. We have to create space for it. We have to create space for God to work through us. The last thing is quiet and personal time for reflection, thoughts, prayers, meditation. Man, this is so much needed. I need this. I need this daily. If I don't have personal time, quiet time, that's peaceful. That's a place where I can just let my thoughts kind of flow, and I can have a creative moment. I can have an aha moment. I can allow God to speak to me. If I don't have that, man, you talk about not good. Temper goes through the roof. I have a short fuse. I can really blow up at pretty much anybody and anything. So I recognize, my flaws. I recognize my challenges. Sometimes God gives you passion, but on the other side of that passion could be anger. Right. So it used in a negative way. Passion used in a negative way can be angry. And sometimes people even confuse my passion for anger, and it's not. I'm just passionate. If I'm talking about something that I'm really obsessed with, it can even come off a little hostile, but it's just because I have so much passion. But if I don't direct that passion, and I don't give myself quiet time, if I don't give myself personal time to reflect and to have thoughts, that passion will turn negative. It will. It will literally flip itself, and it will become anger. And when we get to that place, it's never good. It always ends up being something negative. And thank God for God's grace, because without God's grace, then we would constantly be in this hamster wheel of just feeling shameful and regret. So thank God for God's grace, because it allows us to be able to have that moment to where we can say, you know what, I know this about myself. I understand that I may have a challenge with this, but I'm going to give myself some space in my life to have quiet and personal time for reflection, for thoughts, to talk to God, to let God talk to me, because that's probably the most important thing. God doesn't need me to talk to God. God already knows my heart. I need to listen to God. I need to hear from God directly. That's how my life gets changed, not me just babbling. I do that sometimes. You got to pray, and sometimes you have to seek out, and you have to talk to God. But man, we need time to hear God. We need time to hear God's voice, because God's speaking to every single person on this planet. But we have to give ourselves enough personal space in our life to be able to hear God and to be able to hear his wisdom and his direction. All right, guys, if you like this podcast, please like, share, subscribe, show me some love. This is season number 3, episode number 2. This is The Underdog's Edge. This podcast is for entrepreneurs. It's for business owners, leaders, community leaders, social activists, change agents, independent thinkers. It's for every single person that is aware that they were given a purpose from God. It's for every single person that is aware that they have something powerful that they can share with the world. It's for every single person in this world that is ready to actualize the potential that God has given them. is for every single person in this world that does not want to haphazardly let their days just drain away. Guys, like this podcast, share it, subscribe it. If you have any input, give it to me, send it to me. If there's a certain topic you want to go over, let me know. Until the next time, go out there, have a phenomenal week. Create space in your life. Use one of these tactics today. It doesn't have to be all 5 of them. It could be 1, it could be 2, it could be 3, it could be a combination. But guys, go create space in your life and give yourself that opportunity to be able to feel the presence of God, to be able to hear his voice, to be able to connect with yourself better on a deeper level, to be able to connect with your inner wisdom, and go out there and have a great week. Let's go.